The publication of this book, Is There a Court for Gaza?, is a really important opportunity for us to re-examine where we are now, 3 years after the end of the Gaza conflict, with victims still waiting for justice, truth and reparation. Amnesty International has documented war crimes committed by both the Israeli forces and Palestinian armed groups during the Gaza conflict in 2008-2009. We have documented the investigation efforts by both sides since that time and concluded that there have been no credible, impartial and thorough investigations into the crimes. Since the decision of the ICC Office of the Prosecutor in April 2012 to suspend its preliminary examination of the crimes during the Gaza conflict, the opportunities for justice seem to be dwindling, and this is of great concern considering the fact that over 1,400 Palestinians were killed during the Israeli offensive Operation Cast Lead over those 22 days, including 300 children and numerous unarmed Palestinian civilians, as well as maiming and wounding thousands more. These crimes were absolutely brutal in the way they were conducted, often targeted attacks against residential areas, including the use of white phosphorus. Victims are still crying out for justice, and it's really important that all opportunities are explored. So is there a court for Gaza? Well, in fact, Amnesty International will contend that there are dozens of courts for Gaza. First and foremost, the route to the International Criminal Court is not closed. We would urge the Office of the Prosecutor to re-examine its decision to pass the buck to the United Nations or another political body on the question of whether the Palestinian Authority can be a state for the purposes of criminal jurisdiction. Instead, what it should do is submit this question to the pretrial chamber of the International Criminal Court for a judicial termination that is based on objective criteria and a proper interpretation of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court rather than political considerations. That is something that the Office of the Prosecutor can do without any further delay. Additionally, there are other routes to the International Criminal Court that could be explored, including the Palestinian Authority attempting to ratify the Rome Statute of the ICC, or the United Nations Security Council taking up a referral of the situation and passing that over to the Office of the Prosecutor. Given the fact that the Goldstone report has been accepted by both the Human Rights Council and the United Nations General Assembly, there is a basis for the report to be forwarded to the Security Council for its consideration. Now, beyond that, I mentioned that there are dozens of courts for Gaza, and what I'm referring to is the exercise of the principle of universal jurisdiction, which would allow states, any state in the world, on the basis of international law, to exercise jurisdiction over grave breaches of the Geneva Convention or other crimes under international law, such as torture, to prosecute individuals before their own courts. There's absolutely no requirement of a link between the state in question and the conflict for it to be able to do so, and this offers a real possibility for victims to receive justice in the future.